People love saying no code is a scam like they're dropping some kind of forbidden truth. Yet, every time I hear it, I just want to laugh quietly like, sweetie, that's not the lie. The real lie is way more interesting. Because no code isn't fake, it's not a trap. It's not pretending to be something it's not. It's just misunderstood on purpose. So today I'm going to show you the part nobody tells you. The part that explains why some founders build real startups on no code while others crash into a wall so fast they open Reddit to complain. And somewhere in that mess, the real question pops up. Is no code a lie? Yes, but not in the way you think. Alright, story time. When people hear no code, they think it means exactly what it says. No code, which is adorable, and wrong. The expectation is that no code is some magical drag and drop universe where you can build Uber in a weekend, sip chai, and watch your app scale to 1 million users without ever touching a curly bracket. The reality is this: no code doesn't remove code, it hides it. And that's where the first twist lives. Because the code is still there. It's just written by the platform instead of you. Which sounds cute until you realize that when the platform writes the code, you also inherit all its mistakes, limits, optimizations, and oops, sorry, you can't do that moments. That's the lie. Not that no code doesn't work, but that it works everywhere. Let me explain. Most people think no code means build anything. Yet, under the hood, no code is basically a giant set of pre built Lego blocks. And Legos are amazing unless what you want to build is not included in the set. Like, yeah, you can build a house, a spaceship, a dragon. But if you want to build a dragon spaceship hybrid with LED wings that flap, you're gonna stare at that box like, well, now what? That's the first big contradiction of no code. It gives you speed. But the more unique your idea is, the more the platform will fight you. And if your app ever needs deep customization, complex workflows, or one of those CEO had an idea last night and now everything changed situations, those Lego blocks suddenly feel like handcuffs. But the wild part? This isn't even the biggest surprise. Because the real limitation isn't the tool, it's the thinking. Before we move along, hi, I'm Fariha. I'm building a $100,000 per month SaaS business, and I share simple startup ideas every week. You don't want to miss this stuff. So, hit that subscribe button and let's jump in. The biggest no code myth I see is this belief that you don't need technical knowledge. Like you can just vibe your way to a startup. I wish. No code removes syntax, not logic. It hides the engineering, it doesn't erase the engineering. You still need to understand data. You still need to understand how things connect. You still need to understand how your app thinks, what it remembers, and how it behaves when 10, 100, or 1,000 people start poking it at once. I've seen people drag an icon across the screen and be like, yup, that's the backend. Meanwhile, the poor platform is in the background generating JavaScript, managing permissions, building database structures, optimizing queries, and praying the user doesn't break something fundamental. So when someone says, is no code a lie? My calm analytical self always whispers. The only lie is thinking you can skip the foundational understanding of how software works. But once you get those foundations, no code becomes dangerous in the best way. And speaking of danger, let's talk about something nobody warns you about until it's too late. Vendor lock in. A very dramatic phrase for something very boring, until it hits you. Then suddenly it's the main character in your story. Here's the situation. When you build with no code, you're building inside their world, their database, their logic, their rules, their infrastructure. And if one day you wake up and want to leave, well, you're taking nothing with you except screenshots and trauma. Because most no code platforms don't let you download the code. You can't export the logic. You can't migrate the heart of your app. You can only rebuild from scratch. And that's when founders realize the real cost of easy. Yet here's the twist. Vendor lock-in only hurts if you build the wrong type of app in the wrong place. If you're building internal tools, perfect. If you're building MVPs, chef's kiss. If you're validating ideas fast, testing demand, moving quickly, amazing. You should absolutely use no code. Lock in is only a nightmare when you try to stretch a platform past what it was ever built for. Which brings us to the part almost nobody talks about. No code doesn't fail because it's weak. It fails because people expect it to behave like senior engineers who drink Kubernetes for breakfast. Let me say this calmly. You cannot build a hyper custom, high traffic, massive public facing platform and expect a no code tool to just quietly scale itself like a disciplined soldier. Under load, no code will collapse exactly like a Jenga tower, except with more crying. And it's not the platform's fault, it's the architecture. The more abstraction you add, the less control you have. The less control you have, the more performance suffers. The more performance suffers, the more you blame the tool when the real problem is that you chose speed over scalability. And that's fine. Speed is the point of no code. You just have to know which game you're playing. Because here's the truth. No code is amazing when your goal is speed. No code is painful when your goal is control. And speaking of pain, let's discuss the elephant in the server room. Security. Ah, yes. The fun part. People assume that no code means no responsibility. As if the platform is some digital mom that handles everything. Not quite. No code shifts responsibility, it doesn't erase it. The vendor handles infrastructure, updates, patching, but the logic, the access control, the data exposure, the workflows you design, all yours. And if you don't understand how permissions work, or how data should flow, or how to avoid exposing sensitive information, no code won't save you. It'll politely step aside and let you set your app on fire. But here's the twist, and this is my favorite part. None of these problems mean no code is bad. They just mean no code has a personality. And like every tool with a personality, you have to know when to use it. Which brings us to the most misunderstood part of all. No code is not the future. And it's not the past. It's the bridge. Think of it like this. You start with no code. You validate. You find traction. You outgrow it. Then you rebuild with code or low code intentionally, not emotionally. This is not failure. This is success. If your app becomes too big for no code, it means the idea worked. You crossed the first phase. You earned the right to evolve. That's why no code isn't a lie. It's a tool with boundaries. It's a shortcut that gets you to the starting line faster. It gives you speed until you need freedom. And once you need freedom, it steps aside. That's the truth nobody wants to say because it doesn't sound dramatic enough for Twitter. But if you understand this, you'll build smarter, faster, calmer. And since we're here, let's open up a quick loop for you. If you're building a no-code SaaS right now or thinking about it, you should watch my video on the best AI SaaS ideas for 2025 because combining no-code with AI is basically cheat mode, but only if you know how to avoid the traps I talked about today. Alright, let's land this. No code isn't a scam. It isn't a trap. It isn't a lie. It's a simplified version of reality, powerful in some places, terrible in others. The real lie is pretending one tool can solve everything. It can't. And honestly, it shouldn't. Your job as a founder isn't to worship tools. It's to choose the right weapon for the right fight. So, if this helped you see no code differently, drop a comment and tell me, what's the one thing you're trying to build right now? And if you haven't subscribed yet, just know I will keep making these videos either way, but I will judge you quietly. Alright, no code gets you moving fast, but knowing when to outgrow it is what gets you ahead. We're done.